Hi, you have reached Graphically Alex. Oh my God, whatever. I'm just gonna leave it. Hi, this is Graphically Alex, coming at you with all things fat related. If that's from the industry, please subscribe. I'd love to have you. I don't know what in the 2000s. I've been listening to too much 2000s music. Too much. Too much. I was listening to Telephone today, and I think that's what that was. I was about to record my message inbox, whatever the hell it used to be called. But anyways, I like to film these when I'm exhausted, when I have nothing left to give. I have no soul left, and I'm a brat because I'm exhausted. Because when we're brats, we go forward even when we're tired. And sometimes those skills can be used even in filming. Sometimes you can have transferable skills to other areas of life from a downsizing journey. So today we're going to watch William. Like I said, I never like to be fully lucid when I watch him. I have to be tired. I have to be low dough. I have to be something. I'm not really low dough, but I am exhausted. So I think it still hits. It still warrants British Georgie. I still got the gun though. I haven't said anything Britishy today. All I can say is I'm tired. No, what is it? I feel poorly. No, I'm just kidding. I actually don't feel poorly. I feel fine. Ha! Faked you out there, William. I feel fine. You wouldn't even know what poorly means. You wouldn't even know what poorly means, William. You wouldn't know. Anyways, let's go.
Dieting makes you fat. Yeah, if you do it wrong.
Okay, so we're gonna let it go the whole way. We're gonna let it go the whole way.
And how exactly do you do it right? Look, say it with me. Calories in, calories out. Girl, do not insult your or my intelligence by reducing the body's energy expenditure to a
Girl,
one-step
sorry.
subtraction problem. Let's think critically for a second, yeah? I just don't see how a caloric deficit makes you fat. Ever heard of yo-yo dieting or weight cycling? That's when you keep losing weight and gaining it back, right? Yes, and that's what happens for 95 to 97% of people who pursue intentional weight loss and try to keep it off long term. They can't. And 2/3 of the time, they gain more weight back than they used to have. So they lose weight and they gain more back. Exactly, and it happens because your body recognizes your diet as a period of famine. So the second you start eating more again, your body is going to store as much fat as it possibly can to store up for the next time it's put through a famine. That's so stupid. Or it's a really smart evolutionary function that the body developed to keep you alive. Unfortunately, you can't explain to your body that you're starving it on purpose and that you want it to stay smaller after you stop. Damn. And what should be this really beautiful thing, your body keeping you alive and doing what it can to do so, has been corrupted by the diet and wellness industry. They sell you this lie that you can become smaller, and then when it doesn't work, inevitably, they make you feel like a failure, and then they sell it to you again because it's your fault, not theirs. So, stop letting them. Dieting makes you fat.
Okay, so I wonder, like, if there's supposed to be some kind of meaning with him wearing all black or something versus the ducks. Do you wonder? Do you wonder? My overall thoughts to start with, I will say such black and white thinking, William. Such TR mindset. For those of you guys that don't watch the channel regularly, the TR stands for the toxic ritualistic, which is a coded term for E followed by the letter D. Okay, so he's giving very black and white thinking. So it's either calories in, calories out, or starvation mode, neither of which is necessarily true. So we'll talk about it. Let's talk about it as I'm exhausted. I'm not only exhausted, but I'm exhausted with this talking point. It's so common in terms of BING, E followed by the letter D. It's super common, and it's pushed heavily within fat acceptance. Heavily, heavily, heavily. So, what I will say first of all is this assumes that you have BINGE, the DIS order. In that case, it can be true. But does everybody have that? No. So when we say, yeah, if you do it wrong, I would say if you have an E followed by letter D, especially BINGE, you're not going to be able to sustain that loss because you're probably doing something stupid and dumb to lose it. And you're going to probably rebound because it's a part of it. It's a part of the ritual. It's the toxic ritualistic. It's a part of it. That's that aspect. That's that ritualistic aspect of BINGE is you play those games. So I'm going to do this, but I'm not actually going to commit. So then I'm going to go back up and then I'm going to this and then that and then I'm going to do it over and over again. And then I'm going to say, oh, I tried. So I'm never going to do it again. And then I'm going to start using the memories of it to reinforce my BINGE, my bingo. Over and over again. Over and over and over and over and over and over. Over and over and over. Forever. Until you get out of the DIS order. That's what that is. So even being totally dead, I can basically say what the fuck he's describing in like 2 seconds. It doesn't require that much thought. However, a lot of people in the general public, they're not well versed in it and they don't understand that, which I think it's fine, but I'm just trying to increase awareness.
Yeah, if you do it wrong. And how exactly do you do it right?
You don't have an E followed letter D. Mm-hmm. That's how there's so many people that can magically do it. It's because they don't do it with an E followed by letter D. Plenty of people don't have that. Of course, there are some that are on the reductive side of it, of course, but they're also very much a minority. So, yeah. And we don't support that either on this channel at all.
Look, say it with me. Calories in, calories out. Girl, do not insult your or...
Girl? Excuse me? No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just joking. I just think it's funny that he said that. But no, I think calories in, calories out, it is true in terms of weight. However, where people get it wrong is like calories are not nutrition. So when you just only think about calories, you're not considering the nutrition within the food that you're eating, which is bad. So you have to balance the two, which that's really the only struggle of downsizing or the only like conundrum of it is how do I get the most nutrition within a deficit? And there are going to be times where you have to prioritize one over the other. So that could be through maintenance phases and you get nutrition through a maintenance phase, or that could be through diet culture eras. Like if you're in vanity, you're probably going to have some kind of fake foods. That's things like protein powder, stuff like that, because you have to kind of inflate the amount of protein per calorie sometimes to reach certain vanity goals, which I don't think is bad. It's just you can't depend on that forever. Like you will become a diet culture vampire. You will become anemic because there's no iron in it, for example. And nobody ever thinks about that. And then you just hear a bunch of tall guys complaining and they're like, I can't put any muscle on because I'm tall. And I'm like, is it that you can't put any muscle on, or are you not eating anything of substantial nutrition? Like, just because you're tall doesn't mean you can eat whatever you want. Like, a lot of people there, they like to be like, oh my gosh, da, da, da. Tall people have it so easy, blah, blah. Honey, with great height comes great responsibility. You have to have a lot more nutrition if you're taller. You have much higher requirements for nutrition. It's the same thing if you're fatter. You have a lot more requirements for nutrition. So being bigger, fatter, taller, you need more nutrition, period. And that's something that is not ever considered. So I think a lot of those guys that struggle, they might just not actually be getting any nutrition. They might just be eating a bunch of chimichangas and chips. That's my favorite thing to say. I love it. It's so There's so much alliteration. They're dirty bulking, or they're having like chicken breast and rice, and that's it. And they need like way more iron than other guys. For example, or zinc. It's a mineral that has to do with testosterone. A lot of people within diet culture spaces do not get any zinc at all. So this is where we can. I mean, I don't agree with William on anything. Let's be so dead ass. I don't. I think William is so full of shit beyond any level. But where there's a slightest tinge of nuance is that just because you're thin doesn't mean you're healthy. That's true. And again, we have to think about nutrition in terms of recovering from the reductive as well. So you also have to consider it in terms of recovering from bingo too. All of them. Everything, you know. If you're talking to Anna, if you're talking to Mia, and if you're talking to Bingo, then you're going to have to get nutrition in because you are fucking yourself up nutritionally in different ways. It's really magical how they all end up in the same shitty position. Just you're just a different size. So you got your TR at every size. Your malnutrition at any size. Sure. You know, your hypothyroidism at any size. That's a good one too. We love hypothyroidism on the channel. We love hypothyroidism from the TR because duh, if you're fucking with that aspect of life, you're going to fuck up your thyroid because it rolls your metabolism. So, and yes, it's your fault. William's hypo. It's fucking Moonface Hornby. He's not as moony here, but oh my gosh, there's this one video I reacted to for members. He was so moony. I was like, holy crap, holy hypo. But a lot of you guys speculate he's doing other things, which I don't know. But yeah, I just know he's definitely still in the TR. That's all I do know.
My intelligence by reducing the body's energy expenditure to a one-step subtraction problem. Let's think critically for a second.
Yes, it's more complicated than calories in, calories out, but it's not that complicated. It's like people act like it's like a freaking riddle or like the Sphinx is asking you the question of how to lose weight. Like it's not. You're not talking to a Sphinx. A Sphinx? Shrinks. You're not talking to a Sphinx. It's not riddle me this. It's not what is something that has 4 legs in the morning, 2 at midday, and 3 at dusk. It's not that kind of a question. It's how do I strategize what I'm doing with where I'm at, what my nutritional needs are, what my macronutrient needs are. Am I getting enough micronutrients? Do I have enough fat-soluble vitamins? Am I getting enough electrolytes? A lot of people never consider any of that ever. And then it's like, oh my gosh, I tried. Did you? Did you consider calcium? Did you consider potassium? Like, do you even know what that word means anymore? You'd be amazed at how the food noise goes away if you actually are getting nutrition. A lot of people don't. Have you heard of iron? Have you heard of zinc? Have you called upon the powers of vitamin A? Because I guarantee you probably haven't. Most people haven't, especially not in the TR. They're not necessarily known for balanced diets.
Yeah, I just don't see how a caloric deficit makes you fat.
It won't, but it doesn't automatically make you healthy either. So,
ever heard of yo-yo dieting or weight cycling? That's when you keep losing weight and gaining it.
The TR. Especially if those swings are drastic. If it's a drastic swing, which I will be gracious and say if it's more than 10 lbs, then I'm going to pull the William and I'm going to be like, girl, Is there a reason you're fluctuating 15 pounds? Can it be explained? Otherwise, it's like, like what's going on? If it's anything more than that, ooh, honey. If it's like, if you're like me and it's 70, girl, okay, highway to hell. You trying to unalive if you're going that if you're yo-yoing at that level. I mean, I think it makes sense within like a 5 pound thing. Like, I think that's normal. Like I said, even up to 10, especially if you're tall. But beyond that, it's like, why? Like, just question why, you know? That's my point. Is there a purpose? Is there something to this? Like, why is this happening? I think you should explore that. I'm not a big yo-yo person. I don't like it. But I do understand, like, fluid retention can happen. I've dealt with hypothyroidism, so much swelling. I've been moony. I've been moonier than William at times. So I understand that kind of thing. But when we're talking about, like, that's a physical explanation. If you don't have a physical explanation, you need to figure out what the hell's going on. And if it's in here, I don't think it's excusable to yo-yo diet because of this, because of your brain, because of how you're thinking about it. I don't think it's good. I think you need to nip that in the bud.
It back, right? Yes, and that's what happens for 95 to 97%.
Yes, because everybody that goes in those studies has bingo, binge, that aspect of the TR, bingo TR, because they're all obsessed with it. So they go into it thinking the study is going to give them some kind of answer, which is stupid. And they fail. And then they're like, oh my gosh. And then it taints the studies because the only people who care about this stuff are people that have the issue a lot of the time, which is a problem. And that's why we need to get more normies into it. Because then it's like, I'm sure those studies would change. But you have to think, who's the kind of person that's going to care enough to go into that study? For one. For two, how long is the study? Is it like 2 weeks? You know what I mean? Like, you have to look at that kind of stuff. Sam at Every Size has a great video about this statistic, I believe. And I'm just offering you some other perspectives.
Ton of people who pursue intentional weight loss and try to keep it off long term, they can't. And 2/3 of the time, they gain more weight back than they used to have. So they lose weight and they gain.
And do you have any kind of explanation for that, William? And he's not going to. He's just going to say starvation mode, which is lazy and doesn't mean anything.
More back. Exactly. And it happens because your body recognizes your diet as a period of famine.
No, what happens is that you become nutrient deficient because you're not actually being strategic, and you think that all of life's nutrition is within a salad and chicken breasts, which is not true at all. So when you are approaching it in that way, you're going to have problems. And you're also likely going into it without any nutrition because you probably already have issues with nutrient imbalances because you're fat anyways. So I'm sorry if that's a stereotype, but it's just kind of a reality. I'm going to assume that if you're fat, you have some kind of hormonal dysfunction, which can contribute to nutrient deficiencies through various means. You have the TR, which that's a psychological route to a nutrient deficiency, or you're just lazy, which tells me that you don't put any effort into what you're eating. So it's like whether it's totally physically based, whether it's DIS ordered, or whether you're just lazy and undisciplined, which, yes, I will say that on this channel. I don't give a fuck if it pisses people off. There are a lot of people who are lazy and undisciplined too, and that's why they're fat, which I know that would really piss off William, but we do acknowledge all of it on this channel. But either way, regardless of those three paths to fatness, you likely have a nutrient issue. It's worth exploring. It's worth seeing. It's worth trying to build up stores. Even if you're just obese or super morbidly obese, especially, you have a harder time absorbing nutrients. So what does that mean? Somebody asks, so what do you do? What do you do if you're a person like that? That means you have to eat tons of nutrition. It means basically everything you eat has to be nutrient dense. Or honestly, everything. I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm so beyond you got to work in those chimichangas and chips into your diet. I don't give a fuck. Like, when you're super morbidly obese, you're dying. You need to have nutrition. Like, and people don't take it seriously. They just don't. It's like, you cannot be cute about it. It's like, you got to eat a whole lot of cheese. You got to eat a whole lot of meat. You got to have like juices and stuff because you have to have it hit you hard. Hit it hard. Hit the nutrition hard. You need very easily absorbable nutrition, tons of electrolytes, all that kind of shit if you're super morbidly obese. Nobody wants to do that. Everybody's like, well, I want to have my bread. Your bread doesn't do shit for you. It doesn't do shit for you. But they're like, no. They're very prima donna a lot of the time. And it's like, okay, like, you're just dying, but let's go ahead and be a prima donna. It doesn't fucking matter anymore, you know? But that's how people act. So good luck. It's tough. And if they're in the TR, oh my gosh, then they're very controlling over it. Don't tell me what to do. No. So it's tough. It's a tough thing. But you just gotta whittle away at the logic. And you just gotta hit it every fucking day. No, it's not good for you. It's not good for you. It's not good for you to do this. It's not good for you. It's not good for you. It's not good for you. A lot of people don't want to do that. You have to be like a heartbeat. I can't lose it. Yes, you can. You're just choosing not to. No, it's not a choice. Yes, it's a choice. No, it's not. Yes, it is. No, it's not. Yes, it is. No, it's not. Yes, it is. A lot of people don't want to do that work. That's all you can do. It's very hard, you know? And other than that, you just push somebody to actually get some kind of intervention for other issues. You can really start to hit other issues that are outside of weight. So if somebody's like deeply traumatized, it's like you need to go to therapy for that trauma. Like you need to like try to promote other things and see the person as a holistic person. So if there's these other issues, then get those dealt with. There's usually a lot of comorbidities in somebody who's super morbid, whether that's mental or physical. If they have PCOS, they need to start adjusting their lifestyle or they need to find a treatment plan. If somebody is hypothyroid, oh my God, you need to treat that. You need to change your lifestyle. It's not just a pill. You have to change your lifestyle if you're hypothyroid. It's not cured by medication. That's a common misconception. A lot of times it's medication plus lifestyle, and in some cases it can be just lifestyle. It depends on why it's happening. For example, if you have an E followed by the letter D, then you need to stop, and then you'll probably get better. That was me. That was Alex being a smart one.
So the second you start eating more again, your body is going to store as much fat.
Bullshit. It's only true in certain cases if you're extremely nutrient deficient or if you've done a very deep deficit for a very long time, but you can still have self-control and you can slowly reverse diet. But it might not apply to somebody super morbid. You can be very hungry. You might have to take an off period. But I'm talking like in general, you can do a reverse diet. Even if you're in vanity, you can do that. And it's easier. It still sucks. It's awful, but honey, when you're in vanity, it's all awful, you know? It's like, it's a challenge. Like, get over it. This is vanity. You know, like, what are you doing? You're pursuing a type of athleticism. So that means you're putting more effort than the average person. So I don't know. Do you do that because it's easy? Not necessarily, you know? It's just you're putting in more discipline than the average person, which is good. But do the fucking reverse diet, you fucking lazy piece of shit. Sorry. I don't have the filters. I'm tired. I'm just being real. Why are you going to do the vanity weight era to get abs or whatever? And then it's like, oh, I don't give a fuck at the end. I'm going to gain some weight because I don't care. Stupid. That's just dumb. That's not ED. That's just flop. It's stupid.
As it possibly can to store up for the next time it's put through a famine. That's so
No, it is stupid. You probably have hypothyroidism. If you feel like you're dying, if you do a slight deficit, you probably have hypo. And it just means you have to treat it. But it's like, I can never do. Yes, you can. Shut the fuck up. Yes, you can. That is so dumb. Like, no, we're not going to normalize ignoring diabetes, PCOS, hypothyroidism. We're not going to normalize that. We're not going to normalize ignoring deep psychological trauma. We're not going to normalize neglecting everything in our lives and then just unaliving early. That's not going to happen. So it's like, buckle up, babe. You're going to go recover. You're going to figure shit out. And people are like, I don't want to make my whole life about it. And honey, your whole life is about your disorder. Shut the fuck up. Your whole life is already about it. Especially if you're deep in bingo, it's like, honey, your whole life is all about the fact that you're fat. So shut up. You're already obsessed. There's no like, I was so obsessed. You still are. Gosh, I mean, look at the flop fatties, for example. Their whole lives are about that. Lives. Look at William. His whole life is about his weight. You know what? Mine isn't. And I'm technically in a vanity era. But I'm in a Kesha vanity era, so it's easier. It's like a light version. So it's totally background now. And I hardly think about it. I think about spiritual pursuits all the time. I think about my activism. I think about other people's journeys now.
stupid. Or it's a really smart evolutionary function that the body developed to keep you alive.
No, it's a pathology. Like hypothyroidism is not evolution. Can we stop? Nutrient deficiency is not evolution. Like it's a nutrient deficiency. It's hypothyroidism. It's PCOS. Like none of these things they're not evolution. They're issues. They're physical issues. Like shut up.
Unfortunately, you can't
Girl, shut up.
explain to your body that you're starving it on purpose and that you want it to stay smaller after you stop. Damn. And
Stupid.
what should be this really beautiful thing, your body keeping you alive and doing what it can to do so, has been corrupted by the diet and wellness industry. They sell you.
You have to work with your body. A lot of people try to make their body the enemy. It's not. It's one of the reasons I don't like the addiction narrative, because it frames your body as the enemy in terms of food, and it's very unhelpful in the TR. Very unhelpful. Like a lot of times you have to restore a sense of body trust, which I agree. Somebody was like, I really love that term. I hate that that podcast co-opted it. I agree. I hate that they did too, because a part of genuine recovery is body trust. Like it's accepting that your body is not the exception, that you're not going to try to normalize your weight and it's somehow not going to work for you because you're like a unicorn fairy. Um, that could be part of a tortured era for somebody who's very big. It's like, it happens for other people, but it won't happen for me. Oh, it will. It will, but that feeling is common. It is. But you're never going to know unless you stick to it. So it's like, you can't watch people like William, because he's just going to be like, no. So he's trying to get to you. Because he's a freaking zombie.
This lie that you can become smaller, and then...
It's not a lie. It's happened. I've living proof here. I'm having Angelica on the channel. She's living proof as well. There's many more. If you seek, you will find. You will find the evidence if you don't allow your toxic ritualistic mind to take over the search.
When it doesn't work, inevitably, they make...
But it worked.
You feel like a failure.
It's not necessarily that you as a person are a failure. It's maybe the TR is not being addressed, or you're just not doing it right. Which, again, he's like, the idea that you're not doing it right. So what's not doing it right? Not doing it right is ignoring nutrition. That's not doing it right. Not doing it right is incorrectly counting or incorrectly tracking. Not doing it right is ignoring psychological issues that are comorbidities. Not doing it right is ignoring physical issues that are comorbidities to your supermorbid obesity or your obesity. That's doing it wrong. You'll see like magic if you address physical issues like insulin resistance, hypothyroidism, PCOS, diabetes. If you address psychological issues like trauma, like E fall by the letter D, things like that. If you count properly and you account for nutrition and you build up stores, you'll just be like, oh my gosh, it's magic. It's actually happening. Yeah. Because the stars are aligning. Those are your stars that need to align. We can't control what happened to us. We can't control whatever health issues we end up having necessarily, but we can treat them. There's usually an intervention. A lot of times those issues are complicated further by obesity, so working at the issue will help it, and it will create a momentum behind your healing so it gets easier. Same thing with that psychological side. You work through that stuff, it gets easier to deal with time. Then it becomes even easier and easier and easier rather than harder. And if you keep nutrition in mind, it will be easier. And if you're able to handle taking some breaks sometimes, like you might need to, you're going to be okay. If you're able to handle a possible changing macro need at certain phases of the journey, you might be okay if you have enough of that flexibility to shift if necessary.
And then they sell it to you again because it's your fault, not
It doesn't cost any money to lose weight.
theirs. So stop letting them. Dieting makes you...
Whatever, William. Okay. I'm just going to go for it. He has an article. We're going to do it. We're just going to keep doing it, William. If you want to keep going, then I'm going to keep going. All right, William, I'm not paying for you. I have boundaries. I'm not doing it. I will never give you money for your oh gosh, I almost cussed him out. Ooh, girl, I need to say girl to myself. I'm not going to give you money for your TR bullshit. I still ended up cussing. I couldn't hold it back, but I was about to let go for it for a second. I am paying you shit, William. Okay. Dieting makes you fat. Why America's obesity rate is so high. Think of a chronic dieter in your life, someone you've known for a long time, decades even. I can't even talk. Decades even. Have one? Good. Now think about their body size over the course of time you've known them as they've tried weight loss diet after weight loss diet. I bet that you've seen that person lose weight and gain weight, or more likely lose weight and gain more back time and time again. Yeah, that person, if you have somebody like that in your life, holy bingo. Honey. Like, oh my gosh, you might even have a clicker on your hands if you have somebody doing that. Like, pay attention. I always tell you guys, you can always see. If you look for the signs of the TR, you will always find it. You can find it. You can't hide it that well. Like when we're in the TR, we try really, really hard to hide it. But if you pay attention, you can't. You can't hide it. They can't hide it. You'll find the stashes. You'll find the fluctuation. You'll see that kind of stuff. You'll see all the signs. I know that there's the other signs of the other ones, but I'm not like super, big on the other ones where I know it so well. But I just try to really push the bingo side because it's not taken seriously. So that's why I focus on it. Plus, that's what I experience. So obviously, I know all the nuances of that. But honey, if every time we're sitting down for a meal, somebody has to go to the bathroom, if somebody's doing that, pushing the food around on the plate, just saying, you can tell. Even I could tell that shit. You can even tell by their logic. So, if you listen, a zombie will spill the tea. Usually on accident. But you just have to know what you're listening for. Basically, if you hear somebody talking like William, they're a zombie. They're in it. But yeah, if somebody's fluctuating that much, it's a huge red flag of bingo. So, yeah. Okay. Anyways. And depending on where they are in the cycle right now, their body might be larger than it's ever been before. We as a society see them as a failure for getting fatter, and they, as a person, see themselves as a failure for getting fatter. So it's not about how other people see them. It's about what they're doing. It's about the TR. It's about the cycle within it. It's about the fact that it's a big distraction. It's an attempt at gaining control. People within all issues of the TR want control. They struggle with uncertainty. They struggle with anxiety, typically, but within bingo, that anxiety tends to lead to bingos. So, and it manifests in different ways for the other ones, but it's an attempt at control. So whether that's we're trying to control our emotions, that happens a lot. There's a lot of suppression in that. We're trying to control outcomes. So it could be like, I want like a job opportunity or a romantic opportunity, something like that. Or you want to control, sometimes it could be just another person. You're struggling to control somebody else, so it's triggering you. People don't like to say that about bingo, but it's true. It's there. Don't say that around me. Don't this, don't that. I want you to walk on eggshells around me. That kind of thing. It's very controlling. And then a lot of times you're trying to control. There's like for a lot of people in it, there's like an internal storm. And it can be emotional, or it's like you're trying to control your feelings. I shouldn't feel that way. So it's like, I'll just try to tune this out, because it's like you have this mindset of like, I hate myself so much. I don't deserve a lot of things in life, but I deserve this. But I also deserve the pain of this. I deserve the pleasure of this. I deserve the pain of this. It's really sick. But you shouldn't be thinking about food like that. It's totally a problem. So if you're like all up in that, honey, you're a zombie. And you need to have a warm bodies moment, because you've lost it. Like, you're out of it. You're like in some weird zone now. You're in the twilight zone. So it's gone. You're in the TR zone. Oh my God. You're in the TR zone. If you're like, this is what I deserve and this is this and da da da. And then you're staring at the mirror and you're doing all this crap and it's like that's the emotional quality, you know. Zombie. And you're obsessed. It's all you think about. I'm telling you. It's a thing. So you got to get out of that. So it could be a failure to get out of that. But it's tough. You have to break the cycle. You have to smash it. You know, it's kind of like, I'm not fucking doing this anymore. You have to have that attitude. You got to be real strong in it. And then it will end. You can end it. You can end it today. That's the truth. But you don't think you can because you're like, I'm going to die if I stop. It's like, it's that feeling. That's what it feels like when you think of stopping. But it's like you have to just do it anyway. And just be like, fuck it, I'm not fucking doing it. I don't even give a shit. I don't care anymore. I'm not doing this shit anymore. And then you just are anxious and then it ends. And you'll be like, oh my God, it ended. It does. You know? I've been seeing some examples of people avoiding bingos by kind of like meditating or like calming down their anxiety in the moment. And I think that that's really helpful. I think what's also helpful is just disconnecting it from consumption. So it's like saying things like, just because I feel this way, it doesn't mean that I need to bingo, or it doesn't mean I can bingo. It doesn't mean bingo would actually do anything just because I feel this way. I'm going to feel this way regardless. So you have to kind of like see that, right? It's like developing that awareness. That's like a warm bodies experience. You're developing an awareness of what you're doing, and you have to calm your anxiety in that moment, and then you won't. And then you're like, oh. And then over time, it's like, that's what normal people do. They calm their anxiety in another way. And it can be crazy anxiety. If it's really that bad, like, and you have serious trauma, then you might need medication. If it's like hypothyroid related, I don't think medication really helps other than like thyroid medication. Like for me, it was thyroid related when I was so anxious. So a medication, it's not the best idea for that because sometimes the medications can be a little anti-thyroid. So just be aware of that. But in some cases, it's worth it. Like if you're deeply traumatized and you have to kind of like numb it a bit to like work through it, that's totally valid, you know? But what we're not going to do is we're not going to use E followed by letter D as a treatment plan. It's not. So, and you need to get professional help. Like you can't just ignore this shit. Because if you're really traumatized, you might be so anxious that you need help. Like I'm just going to be real. But if it's physical, like in my case, it was physical most of the time, then it's like you just have to deal with the issue. So you have to deal with hypothyroidism, which means you have to weight normalize, you have to do your lifestyle, right? You have to change things. For me, I had to get rid of fatty liver. How do you do that? A caloric deficit, right? So that's hard. But yeah, that's why I didn't take anything, because I was like, it's not that. It's like physical, and the pill would make it worse in my case. So it's like you need to figure out why you're so anxious too. That is very helpful. So again, I'm going to ask you to do some fucking work. You got to figure shit out. It's not that, like, it's not no effort. But the actual TR is a lot of effort too. So just take the effort you're putting into the TR and put that into recovery. And it's like, oh, I have all this effort. Why don't I put that here instead. Oh my God. Wow, my life's getting better. Whoa. Yeah. And you can complain the whole way. It's beautiful. I've complained the entire way. It works. Anyways, okay, let's finish this little blurb. So does our government, and so does our medical system. Our medical system goes so far as to eventually reward their efforts to lose weight with the BMI category preceded with the word morbid. We tell these people that their weight will cause them to die. Yes, it will. All of this despite them devoting their entire autonomous lives to trying to lose weight. It's not true. This is such an exaggeration. Again, if you have an E by letter D, you're not actually trying. Within bingo, you're not. It's like a deflection thing. You're performing health, not just to others, but to yourself. And it's not actually healthy. So, because you're doing something ridiculous every time. It's something so stupid. Like people within the TR, they'll go to like the worst, like within bingo specifically, they'll go to the worst diet ever. That's just so awful. And like, they'll find the one that like they can't stand more than anything. And then they'll try that one just to like feel how much they hate it. It's really stupid. But I'm telling you, that was me with keto. Like I am like a hummingbird. So I run very well on carbs and protein and stuff primarily. And then I do have to have fat too, obviously. But I would try to do keto and it was like the worst for me. I felt horrible on it and I just wanted to feel horrible. It was so weird. But people will do that, And that's not to demonize keto. Like some people feel much better on keto, But it's like then you try something else. So it's like people do that all the time. But you're not actually trying. I know that's hard for people to hear because they're like, but they are. It's like they're not though. Because you don't, like I said, it's not a riddle. You're not talking to the Sphinx. It's not asking you a riddle. It's like, it's not that complicated, It's just discipline and consistency. And in severe cases, it is recovery. And that is hard. That stuff is tough. Like dealing with trauma is difficult. That is hard to do. That is not linear or easy. But the actual downsizing, compared to other issues, it's pretty linear. It's not easy, but it's pretty like physically based. You put in the effort, you get the result, that kind of shit, Deep psychological stuff, it can be more like a catacomb. It's harder, and in certain cases you may need help, and that's okay, Okay, anyways, let's continue. So they start another diet and they gain more weight and the cycle continues. The fact is that the more you try to lose weight, the more weight you gain. No, that's not true. Ask anybody in the reductive if you need to, William. It's clearly not true. But I don't know. He supposedly had a reductive issue, but yet he's saying this. It doesn't make sense. But what I will say is there are healthy ways of doing it and there are unhealthy ways. Keep nutrition in mind. It's very, very important. A lot of people don't care about it. It's important. Be reasonable. I really suggest slow and steady on the channel. I really do. Slow and steady wins the race. Okay. And then always stay within a healthy range or get to a healthy range, period. Okay. This entire cycle is so devastating, not because these people are getting fatter, but because these people are forced into a perpetual feeling of failure. No. So it's not everybody else's fault. An E followed by letter D, you're doing it. You're choosing it. It's understandable if it's from a very young age. Then it's more of a blind choice. But if you are starting this as an adult, like you're choosing it. And if you are an adult, you're choosing to stay in it. And you need to understand that. because you're everything that people say. All the zombies, they're always like, I have no control. I don't know. I'm addicted. I can't, whatever. Like they just say a bunch of stuff. Or they'll be like, I have the total opposite version of it. Like Alyssa, you know, you can't tell me anything because I have the complete opposite problem. It's like, no. Or they'll be like, I wish I was an alcoholic. That's the one. I'm going to make fun of that one forever this whole year. I wish I was an alcoholic. It would be so much easier. Shut the fuck up. Like, seriously. You fucking zombie. Shut up. You sound so fucking ignorant when you say that. You sound horrible. And it's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Shut the fuck up. Why the fuck? Why are you wishing for another problem? Shut up. I don't want to hear that shit anymore. Like, I want people to push back. If you hear that, push back and say, that's ridiculous. Why would you even say that? Like, is that real? Do you actually feel that way, or are you just saying that? They're just saying it. Nobody wants to be an alcoholic. Nobody wishes they were one. That's stupid. That's like as dumb as saying, I wish I had an E fall by letter D. That's fucking stupid. Shut up. And a lot of people have both. A lot of people have an addiction and they're in the TR. Like, they're not mutually exclusive. So it's just ignorant. Stupid. Anyways. Just can't stand it. Anyways. But because people first blah, let's talk about why dieting makes us fatter. And then for my paid subscribers, let's talk about the concept of choosing fatness. Oh, interesting. Many are familiar with the phrase yo-yo dieting, a term coined by Yale University researcher Kelly D. Brownwell. The preferred term in the literature is weight cycling, which Christy Harrison, RD, defines as bouts of weight loss and regain. Weight cycling happens because intentional weight loss dieting does not work. Not true. Intentional weight loss fails over a period of 5 years. Okay, well, one more. You hoping and praying, William? You watching my channel? If you're not, you should, because that fifth year is coming. 2027, baby. We should throw a fucking party on the channel for William so he can, witness my regain. Stupid ass. Anyways, intentional weight loss fails over a period of blah, blah, blah. For 2/3 of people, they gain back more weight than before they started dieting or arrive at a higher metabolic set point. The weight the body is the happiest at going forward. This is stupid, William. This isn't real. This is TR. Like, this is bizarre. Your body is the happiest at a normal weight. Say it with me. Your body is happiest at a normal weight. 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 Period. Your body is not happy if you're significantly over or under. Your body is not happy if you're significantly over or under. You are just fucking delusional. Period. Hope that helps. There's my little Gen Z moment. I'm trying. Auntie is trying, okay? I'm trying. Clock it. I'm trying to clock it. I'm trying to clock the T, okay? I'm trying. I'm still auntie, but I'm trying to stay hip somewhat. Clock it. Anyway. Oh my God. By the way, my cousin's baby, who I just call my niece because I call myself her lesbian auntie, but she's like a year old, and she'll be like, she'll clock it. She'll clock the T, and she like learned it from Gen Z people. So she learned it from you guys. You guys are teaching the next generation to clock the T. But I died when I saw that. I thought that was so fucking funny. Oh my gosh. Seeing a 1-year-old in context. She uses it in context. Somebody will say something kind of sassy and she'll be like, I'm telling you. It's a good one. Love it. Love that. Anyways, okay. Let me continue. Turns out it's hard on the cardiovascular system for the body to change shape over and over. I don't support weight cycling. I think it's bad. You just want to be as one and done as you can. It's somewhat unavoidable in supermorbid obesity, though. But for other people, there's no excuse. Weight cycling has a high correlation with poor health outcomes, just to name a few that Harrison points out in her well-cited article, What is Weight Cycling? Those outcomes include cardiovascular disease, diabetes, and higher mortality. Notably, these outcomes are popularly associated with simply being fat. So I would say, too, hypothyroidism, if you're doing that all the time, you're putting stress on that system, and you're probably getting more nutrient deficient every time. So there's just a lot of stuff. Like, people think of nutrient deficiencies as quick. Like, when I was iron deficient, I had to supplement for 6 months. It's not quick. It's not, that's not a quick thing. There aren't quick fixes all the time. So you do that over and over, it gets worse and worse. It's not good. Notably, these outcomes are popularly associated with being fat. But what fat person in the United States has never been pressured to no longer be fat? There's a lot of evidence that the way we treat fat people is far more likely than their size alone to be behind those worst health outcomes. No. I was completely isolated during the pandemic, and my health was worse than ever. So no. Bullshit, William. I know the truth. We see the opposite of weight cycling occur in people who are naturally thin their whole lives and never pressured to diet. They, for the most part, stay the same weight because their body is never forced into starvation for weight loss and therefore never has to rebound from that. You don't have to rebound. It's not true, but maybe to a certain extent, but certainly not all the way back, or not super huge. It's just not a thing. And naturally thin is a TR concept, by the way. It's etiologic. Just so you know. This makes it all the more frustrating when thin people adopt a position of moral superiority over people who just can't commit to staying thin. It's not about that. It's about, they never let it get out of control in the first place, which is valid. They've had the thought, oh, this isn't practical, or this is too much. And I think that should be normalized, because it's good to not ever gain the weight in the first place. So, just saying. That's sarcasm, and kudos to any natural not real, who have the wherewithal to acknowledge that they did nothing to earn it. It's not about earning. It's do you not think that you put any effort into gaining weight? You do. People just don't think of it that way. But it's time, money. It's usually time and money for most people, because a lot of the stuff that they eat, it costs more. And they're like, it's cheaper. It's not. Not anymore. Not for a long time. I don't think it ever was. I think that might even be a TR concept, to think that eating out was somehow cheaper than cooking for yourself. That's never been true. The verb starve is important here. On episode 4 of Virgie Tovar's GLP-1 Truth Serum podcast, Dr. J. Corey Williams uses the word starvation to describe what people on GLP-1s experience when they lose weight through loss of hunger. Tovar and Williams agree that starvation is a consistent state of caloric deficit. Caloric deficits are the pathways taken in just about every intentional weight loss pursuit, including GLP-1s. The idea is rooted in the idea that calories in, calories out has literally any merit. So like I said, there is some nuance there. There is nutrition that is required to be thought about, and people don't. And that does happen in the case of GLP-1s as well. And it's just equally stupid. And again, if we completely ignore nutrition, we only think in terms of this, that's also TR logic. Doesn't mean that you have the issue, but it means that you're acting like you do. It's very stupid. It's very zombie to just believe that without any consideration of nutrients. It's TR. It doesn't, and here's my article on why. A caloric deficit in theory is achieved by eating less calories than your body uses throughout the day, and this might make you lose weight initially, but ultimately the reason the body doesn't sustain weight loss for longer than 5 years is it doesn't want to lose weight. That's not true. Wrong. So this is a TR concept. The body doesn't want to not have nutrition. So if you are getting nutrients, your body will be fine. Your body's not going to trip out because your body doesn't want to be huge. It doesn't. Your body is not happy. Either extreme. Your body's not happy at all. And there's plenty of evidence of that all the time. Just tune into your body if you are significantly over or under, and you will feel how shit you actually feel. Your body's not happy. Your body interprets caloric deficits as periods of the S word. When you stop eating enough, your body downshifts your metabolism to expend less energy. No, that's not honest either. It has to do with the fact that you weigh less, so you don't need as much. It's a protective measure, an evolutionary feature from a time when we had less access to food. No, this is like too mythical, and it's not true. Because you don't there's this super weird TR concept that the idea that you could fast and then you're just going to automatically get fatter the next day. And it's that's not true. In fact, for some people, it can be the opposite, So, because if you're doing it for insulin issues, it can be helpful, within certain circumstances. I didn't do that because it's, honey, fasting is hard on the thyroid. But again, you have to work with your physical makeup and with what's going on. So you have to kind of sometimes make decisions. But for me, I was primarily a hypo girly pop. So fasting is not the best. I would still do sometimes intermittent, but it wasn't something I intentionally tried. It's I just didn't want to eat in the morning. And then when I wanted to, I would, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't anything intentional. But I would just typically follow hunger cues and stuff. Unfortunately, you cannot explain to your body that the starvation state you're in is self-induced. So the second you start eating more food again, your body is going to make sure that it rebuilds its fat reserves. No, it's going to want to rebuild nutrient reserves, not necessarily fat reserves. And they're not the same things. So no, your body is not magically in love with tons of excess fat. Your body wants iron. Your body wants zinc. Your body wants vitamin A. Your body wants vitamin C. Your body wants this stuff: magnesium, calcium, potassium, sodium. Your body wants that stuff. Your body wants protein. Your body wants nutrition. That's what your body wants. Your body's what the hell? What unbalanced bullshit did you put me through? 2/3 of the time is preparing for your next period of starvation with more energy reserves than before. Try not to be mad at your body. It's just trying to keep you alive. It's trying to get nutrition. That's what it's trying to do. And the more you don't give it nutrition, which is also TR-ish, by the way, then the worse it gets. Not even TR-ish, it is TR. Especially if you're intentionally not giving yourself nutrition. And given all of this, it seems obvious to me that the reason the American population is getting fatter is that we diet so much. No. It's because people don't actually eat real food. It's because people like you, William, are leading the conversation and encouraging everybody to gain as much weight as possible. But how prevalent is dieting in America anyway? The numbers are staggering. According to a 2022 study conducted by Within Health, 80% of Americans have been on a diet in the past. 85% of women and 72% of men, and 44% of Americans, 47% of women and 41% of men were on diets at the time of the study. And of course, so many of us have dieted. We've all been told since the obesity epidemic was concocted, in 1998, that obesity will kill us all. Okay, bloater, Hornby. Oh my gosh. Okay, bloater, Hornby, you're trying to kill people. Americans are instructed to lose weight by our doctors when we are routinely weighed at the beginning of appointments, something that is not common practice in other healthcare systems. Your weight is just a number, honey. If you're putting a bunch of emotion into it, that's TR. Gosh, it's how do people not recognize this shit? It's we're not going to normalize having emotional crash outs over the scale. That is E followed by letter D. Logic. Like, what the fuck? You get over that shit. It's dumb. It doesn't mean that much. You need to ask yourself, why does it mean so much? And dismantle that. It shouldn't. It's just a data point. Dumb. Fat Americans are even prescribed weight loss at appointments for strep throat or a head cold. It's just something that people are told. They're like, hey, you should consider this because you should. Especially in this age of aggressive direct-to-consumer GLP-1 marketing, few Americans can avoid the calls to lose weight. Oh my gosh. The calls come from friends, ads, families. No, if anything, it's the opposite, William. It's like everybody is encouraging everybody to be as fat as possible because of people like you. That's literally what it is. People downsize and they're like shamed for that, or, oh my gosh, do you have a problem? Or, you know, you get these weird things and they're like still overweight. You know, people are so encouraged to be fat. It's wild. It's truly wild. But let's just ignore all that. This whole article you're writing, William, is encouraging people to be fat. And as Mike Tyson so eloquently reminded us on Super Bowl Sunday, we have the most obese, fudgy people. Obviously, we have to diet. What choice do we have? We starve ourselves and then we get fatter. We get fat. That doesn't make any sense, William. This is super TR. We get fatter and then we starve ourselves. No. Typically what happens within B-I-N-G-E, within bingo, is you bingo and then you get fatter. And then you start to obsess over how you look. In some cases, you can obsess over how you look first, then get anxious, then start there. But either way, the cycle gets going. So no. If one is really to believe that being fat is a problem, which to be clear, I do not, how do we stop Americans from getting fatter? Simple, we tell them to stop dieting. Not dieting doesn't mean they'll get thinner, but it likely means they won't continue to gain weight. That's not true. People gain weight all the time within fat acceptance. It also probably means their weights will reach a set point range to stay within it going forward, holding all other factors constant. So this is just a very disempowering mindset and super TR. This is very, very, very E followed by letter D. I want you to understand this. This is like mythical. This is mystic. It's mystifying. It's cloudy. It's blurry. It's very zombie. This is extreme levels of zombieism. This is something that pretty much everybody who's had bingo has told themselves at one point, and it's super fake. It's stupid as fuck. Even the idea of set point is so barely even a thing. It's not really real. No, it's not. But don't get me started. When I first was doing my activism, I kind of disproved set point very early on. But people were like, really? And I'm like, no, yeah. Duh. It's super TR to act like your weight is just going to stay somewhere automatically. That's not true. By the way, that totally encourages the reductive side too, William. Stupid ass. Anyways, sorry. I just don't like William, so I'm very personal with him. I told you, I get really mean. Asher Laramie puts it well when he says, the best way to gain weight in the long run is to attempt to lose it. No, it's not true. Tell that to a reductive person. That sounds so fucking stupid. You guys are all so stupid. In chapter 2 of his upcoming publication, No Way, Americans gain weight because they're attempting to lose it. If they truly don't want to gain weight, they should stop trying to lose it. Stupid. I mean, what the fuck does this do? Like, genuine question to any of you guys who have struggled with the reductive or Mia, what does this do to your, or what if you left it, which hopefully you did. If you didn't, you better leave it. Fucking, you're still as on too. But if you left this or whatever, or if you have experience with that side, what does that do to your brain to hear something like that? Because it has to be a mind fuck. It's not true, obviously, but fuck. If the goal of our government and the wellness industry is to make Americans healthier at a population level, what they should really do is stop encouraging people to diet and weight cycle and root out anti-fatness for a medical system. That would just lead to people gaining weight like crazy, literally. But where's the profit in that? Oh my God. And oh my God. Oh my God. And for you, my paid subscribers, thank you so much for your financial support of my writing. You help make it possible for me to do this advocacy work, and I'm deeply grateful for you, especially during this time where it's harder than ever to freely speak about fat liberation. Let's talk about the concept of choosing fatness, and I invite your feedback. I believe that few people, if given the option at the beginning of their lives, would choose to be fat or marginalized, and yet the majority of the American population is some level of fat. Oh, you'd be shocked. People choose it every fucking day, William, because they don't give a fuck about it. That suggests that most people who are fat would prefer not to be fat, but there are people who proudly choose fatness, and I believe everyone should have the right to. Let me explain. Oh, I'm sure you do, William. Just like I'm sure you'd proudly support skeletons, wouldn't you? Fucking psycho. I'm done. Did you have fun? Did you learn something? Am I just crazy? I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.